from the KXLY News Center in downtown Spokane. This is KXLY 4 News at 6.
We go immediately to breaking news. A massive fire is quickly growing near Upriver Drive. That's right on the edge of the city of Spokane, close to Spokane Valley. It is growing. One home has been lost and more are now threatened. Mandatory evacuations in place right now. If you live south of Valley Springs, east of Minnehaha, or north of Upriver, you need to leave your home right now. These are level 3 evacuations. Level 2 evacuation orders have now been issued for south of Bigelow Gulch, west of Argonne, east of Havana, and north of Upriver. Now, at this level, you need to be ready at a moment's notice. Again, one home has been destroyed, many others threatened. Crews say this fire is growing. They're fighting it from the ground and from the air. And we are getting word right now that fire help is also coming in from Idaho. We have KXLY 4 team coverage of the scene right now, working to get you the very latest information. Let's go live first to Aaron Luna. He's closest to the flames along Upriver and Bend Lane. Aaron, what do people need to know?
Nadine, you said it right there earlier. Level 3 evacuations, that's the most important information. That means you need to be out of your house and seeking shelter. Level 2 evacuations mean you need to be ready to go. So it's ready, set, and then go. So 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. Unfortunately, as you mentioned earlier, it looks like someone has lost their homes. Neighbors in this area tell me that the gentleman wasn't home at the time of the fire. That is good news. Unfortunately, his house has been destroyed, and that fire continues to lick at the structure. Just behind that, though, I would say 50 yards away is another home. Firefighters have set up in between those two homes. You can see them spraying that house with water, continuing to put water on very, very hot fuels at the moment. This fire seems to have moved to the northeast. We're seeing wind that's coming at us basically from the southwest, and unfortunately these winds pick up every now and then and they start pushing that fire into those trees. We've seen several trees just explode in flames. State mobilization has been authorized to fight this fire. We had a helicopter out here when we first arrived on scene. That helicopter has since been switched out with a DNR helicopter, so they probably have sent that helicopter to refuel and replaced it with another unit. We had the fire boss out here also. But once again, the most important information we can stress to you right now is there are level 3 evacuations. You need to leave your home. And if you are in evacuation level, which is Bigelow south to Argonne, you need to be ready to go. That is the most important information. We will continue to update this as soon as we have more. We see another fire boss floating over the burn area at the moment. Just want to keep you posted on everything that we're seeing. Looks like they just had 2 drops. Yeah, looks like 2 fire bosses continuing to pour water on this. It may look like it started to dissipate, but just moments ago we saw trees that flared up, so this is still very active. Don't get the impression that this is out anytime soon. Nadine, I'm going to send it back to you, but just be very aware that this is a very active fire.
Oh, yes, lots going on out there. Thanks for that report, Aaron. We'll check back with you a little bit later. Let's go now to Chris Crocker. Chris, the conditions are hot and dry and somewhat breezy for those firefighters tonight.
Absolutely. Current temperature in Spokane Valley, 98 degrees. The winds have not been as big of an issue as they certainly could be and would be at this time tomorrow. Southwest winds at 11 miles per hour. Earlier in the day, had gusts in the 17-mile-per-hour range, but right now are not much of an issue, but right there at the fire, they may be creating their own gusts. Meanwhile, very dry conditions. Also, the latest relative humidity, only 7%. So desert-like conditions. Along with that, all of that dry, fine fuel from our wet spring is just making things that much worse. Elsewhere around the region, temperatures are in the 90s and triple digits right now. 94 at Spokane International Airport. Red flag warning through Wednesday for the Columbia Basin. That is for wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Our winds are going to be picking up around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene as well tomorrow in the 25-mile-per-hour range. Possibly even 30 by tomorrow evening, but that's some cooler air pushing its way in. 62 for high tomorrow, or for a low tomorrow, a high tomorrow of 90. I'll be back with your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All
Nadine?
right. Looking forward to that. Thank you, Chris. More fire watch coverage now. Our Hawk Hammer is at Upriver and Frederick, and I'm seeing reports on Twitter Hawk, that this fire is moving, as you had reported earlier this evening at 5 that it was moving north, but even as far as Columbia and Radium Lane from where you are. So that's a bit of progress that this fire has made. And you're talking to DNR right now about this?
Certainly, Nadine, those evacuation areas are growing. This fire nowhere near contained. I'm joined by the DNR Public Information Officer. We updated folks last show and up to the minute on our social media, but what can you tell me? Where are these evacuations?
So right now we have level 3 evacuations, which means we're asking folks to get out south of Valley Springs Road, east of Shields Park, and north of Upriver Drive, which is pretty much right what we're seeing in the background here. And then level 2 evacuations from Bigelow Gulch south and from Argonne west.
These are expanding. Talk to me, level 2, what does it mean?
Level 2 means be ready to go out at any time.
Obviously, we're calling in more and more crews from around the area. We've seen Air Force, we've seen Cheney now arriving on scene. What's the scope of this fire as far as state mobilization?
I know that they've asked for state mobilization right now, which means we'll be getting crews from all other areas around and coming in, strike teams and stuff to come help us get this fire under control. And yeah, we are multiple districts, multiple agencies right now. DNR's here, but Fire District 9, this is their area to start with, and then they've had mutual aid from all the different resources around here.
Talk to me about structures. We've seen one home burn. What else are we looking at?
One structure, I'm not sure if it was a home or not, is confirmed loss, and other structures, multiple structures threatened at this time.
There's some challenges out here as we're watching crews walk back up this hill. What are they facing terrain-wise?
So we have as you can see in the background, lots, steep, rocky, hard to get in there with bulldozers or anything, lots of hand work, just trying to get up in there. It's 96 degrees out. Our crews have been out all day, and we've had multiple fires already in the district. So
sounds good. And we're getting an update from Nadine. New information?
Well, Hawk, I wanted to know if you could ask DNR. We have yet to hear a size of acreage that has burned. How big is this fire, if he knows it all?
Sounds good. We're going about an hour and a half on this fire burning. Do we have any update on size?
Right now, I would just guess 30 to 50 acres, and we're trying to get containment on it, but nothing at this time.
Sounds good. So yeah, Nadine, you heard it. Evacuation size increasing, weather challenge here, terrain, just another challenge that firefighters are having to face. They're bringing crews in from across the state. We've seen Cheney, we've seen Air Force now out here. We're going to keep an eye on it. Keep up with us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, our website. We're going to have minute-to-minute updates if evacuations change. That's level 2. Level 3 being the ones you want to get out. They're just calling in more and more support out here, and that includes airdrops. They're just pulling it back and forth from the river. Size right now, he's estimating 30 to 50 acres. So this thing, it's growing, and they are just doing their best to get it contained under control, but nowhere near that just yet, Nadine.
Yeah, good to know, Hawk. At least if there's anything benefiting them right now, besides the fact that they have to fight these conditions and this hot, dry weather, is that they've got the Spokane River close by where they can take those water dips from. Thank you, Hawk, for that. We'll check back in with you. Now let's go to KXLY4's Kyle Simchuk. He was one of our first reporters on the scene of this fire, and you showed us earlier, Hawk, or Kyle, what we believe was the home that has been lost. That was on fire. What's the scene where you are now?
Well, yeah, Nadine, in that home right now, there's a lot of fire crews here, but the flames at least are out. There's still a lot of smoke, but that home is a complete loss, and so is the car here. That was in the driveway. Neighbors here who were with hoses spraying everything down tell me they don't believe the homeowner was around. They say actually he wasn't around, but we don't know if he or she is aware of really what's happened. I just want to walk you through what we saw when we first walked up here. We left the station. We could see the smoke almost as soon as we left the station. I'm sure a lot of our viewers in Spokane, if you step outside right now, you could probably see all of this too. When we arrived here up this dirt road, we saw neighbors, probably about 4 or 5 of them, just with these hoses, really spraying off anything on their land that was dry to prevent the flames from spreading. And we've heard from some neighbors that the power has been shut off. We don't know if that was on purpose or an accident or whatnot, but then again, you lose your water pressure. And so some of them, we've heard, have started a generator to keep their hoses running. But again, the smoke where we are, we're about maybe 1,000, 1,500 feet up from Upriver Drive here at the BJ Farms. You can see if we can pan over there, some of these plants, they're all fine because they have the dirt. Dirt is a great barrier, but anything else, all this dry brush, the trees, it just burns right through. The smoke where I am right now has cleared, but if you look to the north there, you can see all that smoke, and we have a large aircraft coming in there. They might drop some water. Let's take a look. These planes fly very low into the smoke. It's dangerous for these pilots, but they are very well trained and equipped to handle this. You can't even see him anymore. He's gone in the smoke, dumping some water in there. Also have some helicopters, a lot of fire crews. We saw a bulldozer earlier, so you can imagine they might be trying to dig some fire lines. Hey, here comes another plane, headed right for the smoke, going right into that. Very large effort underway here now, Nadine.
Hey, just to let you know, we are getting word now, Kyle, that this fire has been named. It is the Upriver Beacon Fire. And Hawk had an interview with DNR. They had estimated it's about 50 acres. We're getting a better update now, anywhere from 75 to 100 acres fire, the size of this fire right now.
That doesn't surprise me, just looking at all this smoke.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Earlier tonight, you showed us neighbors where you were protecting their own homes with the garden hoses. That's still going on?
You know, they have actually left this area where we are. There's not much smoke to worry about. I mean, some hot spots, but we don't know where those neighbors went. They might be going up toward the smoke where, you know, more properties, more brush is in danger. But yeah, so far right here, they've left the hoses, and about 4 or 5 of them have taken off.
We'll check back in with you. We're going to go to Jack Ferris now. He joins me now in the studio. We've been collecting your pictures that you've taken if you were in a safe place of where you are and what's happening. So let's, regarding this fire, let's go to Jack Ferris and see what he has to share with us.
Yeah, Nadine, and you mentioned, I think safe is the operative word. Obviously, this fire raging in the middle of our Tuesday afternoon commute. So a lot of rubbernecking on all our major thoroughfares right now. But we appreciate the pictures as you send them in on our Facebook page. Let's take a look at one from Brooke Snyder. This is right by Rogers High School, so a considerable distance from where the fire is raging right now. Obviously, as you can see, Rogers High School to her south. She is driving eastbound, so we appreciate the picture here, Brooke. Moving on to the next one, this is from East Sprague. So as the crow flies, probably 2 miles south of the fire, and as you can see, the plume of smoke, really incredible as she's looking, as Kathleen Schneider is looking north to the fire. Another one here comes, I believe, from I-90, yeah, from Colby Bepple. So obviously Colby, just east of downtown Spokane, and from this view, it almost resembles a volcano. The plumes of smoke are that big. They almost look like clouds, so really a sight to see, and we advise you, obviously, a lot of people on the roads right now going home after a long day of work. People are tired, and obviously these are sights to behold, so drive safely. Another one from Colby. This is closer to the airport. Really one of the most picturesque scenes of downtown Spokane as you enter from the west. Really a horrifying looking picture there as the smoke detracts from the beautiful skyline of Spokane. Here's Savannah Stoltz from I-90 eastbound again, so really close, probably maybe a mile, if that, probably a little bit less to the fire there. As you can see, the plume of smoke, quite a sight to behold on this Tuesday afternoon. Again, we appreciate the pictures as you send them into our Facebook page, but remember, send them, as Nadine said, from a safe place. This is another one from Savannah Stoltz, a little bit further away from the fire. She's a little bit closer, more close, I should say, to downtown Spokane. A lot of smoke to behold there. This one comes from Stephanie Jacobs from Central Avenue. It almost looks like the smoke is blocking her view of the sunset. Obviously, scary, alarming looking smoke there. Can't begin to tell you how I describe that color. Here we are from Bobby Wheeler, Southeast Riverton, a considerable distance away from the fire. And as you can see, the smoke, I should say, making the clouds look very small. Again, it almost resembles a volcano right now in just west of Spokane Valley near Upriver Drive. Again, we appreciate all of the photos you're sending to us on our Facebook page, but remember, do so from a safe spot. A lot of rubbernecking right now around Spokane. Don't compound this issue. From studio this evening, Jack Ferris, KXLY4 News.
All right, thank you for that, Jack. It's not often you get to see a fire of this size, 100 acres, burning right within the city limits. All right, let's go back to those evacuation notices. Mandatory evacuations, you must leave, are in place right now if you live south of Valley Springs, east of Minnehaha, or north of Upriver. You need to leave right now. Again, these are level 3. Level 2 evacuation orders. Now, these are be ready to leave at a moment's notice. This is the time when you want to gather those pictures or pets or whatever you need to. Level 2 evacuation orders issued south of Bigelow Gulch, west of Argonne, east of Havana, and north of Upriver. Again, level 2. Keep it right here. We're going to keep you updated whenever these evacuation orders change. Also, make sure you have the free KXLY4 app downloaded onto your phone. We'll have the most up-to-date information about this fire and evacuations just as soon as we get them, folks. This is information you need to know. We'll be right back with more Upriver Beacon wildfire coverage right after this.